Last week we talked about the significance of starting a faith conversation with our neighbors. And if you're like me, sometimes that can feel like a lot. And so as we simplify this, and we talked last week about 4 questions to start a spiritual conversation, this week I want to encourage you to practice this at home. And so I'm here with Eloise to demonstrate to you just a way that you can start a spiritual conversation with your family. And so, Eloise, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
What was a good part of your day? What was a hard part of your day?
Good part of my day was probably I got to help with the talent show with my school, and a hard part of my day was probably feeling stressed about schoolwork.
Okay. So we talked last week that when I hear someone talk about stress, that's a great transition to share about how, for me, when I'm feeling stressed, I pray. God's a big part of it. And so then I ask the transition question, hey, can I ask you a personal question?
Yes, you can.
Love to know if you feel like faith is a part of your life and if you feel like you're on a spiritual journey.
I do feel like I'm on a spiritual journey, yeah.
Now, I wouldn't ask that question of my family because I know that, but I would like to know, where do you feel like you're at on your faith journey with God right now?
I think I'm in a spot where I'm learning a lot and learning to receive His grace and let that fuel my actions. And also sometimes, I'll feel doubt, but learning to work through that with Him and, just learning about me and my faith.
I love that. I was just talking with a friend today about grace and receiving, not achieving.
Hey,
that's good.
Exactly.
So as you're receiving grace on this journey, where do you see yourself in a year from now?
I see myself still walking with Jesus and hopefully, being more vocal about my faith. I get excited to learn more about how to do that and being really anchored in receiving grace.
Well, I remember this week or last week, you wanted to apply for a missional grant.
Yes.
And that's something we offer as a church. If you want to think of creative ways to love your neighbor, you can apply for a missional grant, which gave you some funds from the church to buy some donuts for your theater friends.
Yes.
And to let them know that they're loved.
And
as a church, we wanted them to know that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a sweet way to do it. And so as you're thinking about being more open in terms of talking about your faith with your friends, what makes that hard? What's getting in the way of that?
I think probably just my thoughts. I can overthink it or just get anxious about it.
Yeah, which I totally identify with. That's why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
And we want to make this more simplified and accessible, and that's why I think it's so important to start in your home. Ask these questions of your kids, make it a habit. And so last question we always like to ask is, how can I help you as you're wanting to continue on this journey?
I think ways that you can help is just to listen, which is great, what you're doing right now.
We're doing that. We're doing it. Good.
And just encouragement, and maybe to share moments where, you feel like you've been able to talk about your faith so that maybe we can celebrate that together.
I like it. So I'd encourage you as a church, start this at home, make this a habit in your own family.